Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider. I'm Stephen King. We come to you from the locker room once again today as we're going to be talking some Islanders basketball with the head coach of the men's program, Willis Wilson, and the head coach of the women's program, Royce Chadwick. We start things off, though, with the head coach of Islander men's basketball, Willis Wilson. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well.
Well, you know, after garnering the second seed in the Southland Conference tournament, the NCAA tournament dream kind of came to a close, unfortunately, with the semifinal loss to Sam Houston State. How were the nerves of the team going into the game, considering that no one on that squad had played a postseason game?
I think we were a little tentative. You know, I thought it showed in the first half, just a little bit indecisive, and I thought Sam Houston was really on top of their game. They really paid a lot of attention to detail, and we were just a click behind. I wouldn't say that we were way off our game, but for an opponent like Sam Houston, who we had been battling with all year long for that second slot, they were ready to play, and we were just a little bit tentative. I thought our defense in the second half was really, really outstanding, and 8 stops in a row, just did a tremendous job, and then we just couldn't put the ball in the hoop, whether it was from the free throw line or from the field, when we really had a chance to really change the momentum of that basketball game. But it was a very well played game by both teams when it's all said and done.
You talk about the first half, and the first half, you know, was a bit troublesome at times. Early on, it seemed like there were some offensive rebounds that went their way that kind of pushed things in their favor. But ultimately, it was that final 8 minutes of the half where they were able to create the gap. What do you think transpired in those 8 minutes, which created a 2-point game to an 11-point game?
You know, I really just think it was us being a little bit unsure of ourselves. You know, we've talked all year long about how you got to take the hits. And just being in that postseason atmosphere, we didn't have the edge that we needed to be able to take that hit and bounce back and recover as quickly as we needed to. We had a couple calls that went against us during that stretch that kind of threw us out of our rhythm and upset our rotation a little bit. But I think all in all, the way our guys responded, we were able to regroup at halftime, and the way we responded in the second half, especially on the defensive side. There were very few situations where we played defense that well and not be able to capitalize on the offensive side. That just didn't happen to us very much this year. And the thing that I would really say is that we probably improved more than anybody else in the league defensively. Went from being a team that I thought was very average or mediocre to being very, very good by year's end.
One player in particular that kind of stood out for me, Hamid Ali of the junior. Hamid battled very hard. He was your leading scorer and leading rebounder in this game. What are your thoughts on his performance, and was there anybody else that really stood out for you?
Well, he just played a tremendous basketball game. I think he was clicking on all cylinders, coming off that hip surgery and not having a summer program or a fall program for that matter. I think he's just finding his rhythm and back to getting healthy. His athleticism in the gym, it's been noticeable just in the last 10 days how much more athletic he is, how much more comfortable he is. Obviously, with the season that he's had, his confidence is at an all-time high, and just really, really, really did a lot of good things for us.
Reflecting back, after winning only 6 games the previous year, you win 17 games, post the second biggest regular season turnaround in NCAA men's Division I basketball. How does this accomplishment rank in your college basketball coaching career?
Well, it's a feat. I mean, I've been in this situation before where we struggled. My career at Rice, where we had a really down year with a talented team and came back and made a 12-game improvement. It was the best in the country. So I've kind of been there before and experienced it before, and really in a lot of ways used what I learned from that experience to apply it this year and to be able to kind of tweak it and get our guys to understand that there is hope. You know, there was a point this season, if you go back to December, where there was very little hope. And I think that was one of the significant differences from the previous experience to where we are now was we were a little bit behind the 8 ball. Didn't have Rashawn for a number of games early in the year. Had a losing streak that was not anticipated, where we just were in close games and could not put away those close games. But to be able to fight through that and understand that the competition in so many ways was not going to change once we got past the Minnesota game, where we're going to pay people that we should be able to compete with night in and night out, and that's exactly what we're able to do.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. First and foremost, we're talking about a loss in the conference tournament, but the season is not over. The season is not over for Islander men's basketball, as your team has accepted an invitation to the College Insiders Tournament and an opening round matchup on the road against Northern Colorado in Greeley, Colorado. How important is this moment for the program, getting an invitation to a postseason tournament?
You know, incredibly important. But if I could back up to the conference tournament just to say
Sure.
this about the situation we found ourselves in, and I think this is important for our program. We earned the semifinal. You know, we only played one game there, and we need games to become an experienced team in those kind of situations. But we earned our way past the opening round, past the quarterfinals, into the semifinals, and I think that's an accomplishment. I mean, we were all alone in second, and again, we earned the right to be there. And I think that is the impetus and the springboard that leads into where we find ourselves with the opportunity to play in postseason. To be a part of the College Insider Tournament is just, it's huge. It's a great opportunity. It's an opportunity for our guys to gain more valuable experience. It's an opportunity to kind of learn what postseason basketball is, being away from home and on the road. It's an opportunity for our young guys to kind of get their feet wet and to get their appetite in a place where we can use this going forward into the off season and really be hungry to gear up for next season.
You know, some emotions, the low after the loss. Now you got to pick them back up again. Did you and your staff have to do anything extraordinary to refocus them after the loss, or just the fact that there was an opportunity to play again, was that enough?
Well, I think for a lot of guys it is enough. I think, but when you look at the emotional side of it, I mean, our seniors were very emotional after that game, and those guys were such a big part in turning around this basketball program. And so I think anytime you go through that sort of emotion, you've got to really work at picking yourself back up. The good thing about our basketball team is we've learned how to bounce back. We've been in a lot of situations like that. We've been a very good road team this year, and so we're very hopeful going into this tournament.
Well, things are moving awfully quickly right now. How much do we know about Northern Colorado?
We know that they're a good basketball team. They're very, very good at home. They have a 13-2 mark at home, and so it'll be a tough challenge. We also know that we're very good on the road, so we feel confident going into this situation. They will be on spring break, so we don't know what kind of crowd that they'll be able to host and throw at us. Going to altitude, so it's going to be a little bit challenging from that standpoint because we're at sea level. But you know, we're very, very hopeful and just really excited and looking forward to the challenge.
Well, congratulations on an amazing year and best of luck coming up in the tournament.
Well, we're really excited to be part of postseason and part of the College Insider Tournament.
Willis Wilson, head coach of Islander men's basketball, joining us once again here in the locker room. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
When we come back, we've got a special feature taking you behind the scenes of the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament. Stay with us, more to come. Islander Insiders continues. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we have a special feature that gives us a look back at this past Southland Conference Basketball Tournament.
No, I mean, this is one of those things where you got to expect the unexpected, and you got to be ready when guys come in. We were just a little bit tentative. Not a lot tentative, but we were not on our game the way we've been in the last 7 games, and Sam Houston was, and it wasn't. It wasn't anything big. It was a lot of little things that I'm sure if we break down the tape, we'll be able to see where we could make some adjustments. And frankly, I thought we did that in the second half, especially from the defensive side. The one thing that we didn't do that we've done this second half of conference play is we were able to take advantage of good defense by scoring the ball on the offensive end, and we just didn't make some shots. We had some good looks. We had some really good looks that just just didn't go.
It's just something we have to grow from. Like everybody knows, this is our first time in this position, so I think that kind of played a big part in this game. But it is what it is. We just gotta, be bigger than the situation and keep our heads high and grow from it. That's pretty much it.
I thought a lot of it was adjustments. I just felt like, we're a little bit of an immature team still. We're young. We only have 2 seniors. We hadn't been in this situation before. And in all credit to our guys, we've had a really good year, but we still have a lot of growth in us in terms of maturity and really just understanding in an environment like this, when you're playing for a chance to go to your conference championship game, you got to put your foot on the gas. And Sam Houston did that, and they had it all the way down for 40 minutes, and I thought we kind of lifted at times. And in particular, in the first half, we just kind of feeling our way through it a little bit too much.
We have to regroup and get our program reestablished. But I couldn't be any prouder of our senior class for the simple fact that from where they took us from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, they have done one of the finest jobs of a senior class in the country of taking their roles and doing what they thought was best for our team and putting themselves on the shelf. And I'm very proud of our senior class.
Definitely. I mean, this is the 3rd time we're playing them, so they're not going to give us the same thing that they gave us last time. But we got to make plays. It's March.
I think there's a lot more energy and excitement in a conference tournament, and I thought we were very excited to be here. I think that very few of the players on our team had been in a setting like this, and it took us 4 or 5 minutes to settle down. Once we settled down, I thought we did a pretty good job offensively, but defensively we never really got into a very good flow, I didn't think. We didn't defend the way we need to defend, and I thought that they rattled us a little bit early, and we turned the ball over, and you just can't do that at this stage of the game. You can't give up offensive rebounds and can't turn the ball over, and we did both those.
What's Massage Envy Spa? For me, it's healthy, it's affordable. I mean, he always wants
pain relief.
Right. And I want a healthier complexion. And now we can get a customized massage or a healthy skin facial
At a really good price.
at a great price. And nothing feels better than that.
Customized massages and healthy skin facials, all at the perfect price. Start a healthier routine today with Massage Envy Spa.
Go, you'll see.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we're going to talk some Islander women's basketball with the head coach of the women's program, Coach Royce Chadwick. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Stephen.
Well, first off, congratulations on a tremendous season. You returned to the Southland Conference tournament, the top ranking in the country for largest single season turnaround, and for yourself, Southland Conference Coach of the Year. Now, I know that you're one who likes to move forward, but have you had an opportunity to maybe reflect over this past season?
Well, at this point, we're still, we have the taste of our last game. You're only as good as your last game, and we didn't play as well as we hoped. I thought it was imperative with this young team that we get them to the Southland Conference tournament so that they have had that experience. Now they've been in postseason. They know what it's like. I think it's very difficult to go there and win that tournament if you haven't been in the tournament. So hopefully next year we'll go in with a higher seed. Next year we'll go in with the experience that we've been there, done that, and we'll be able to move forward. I think the one thing we accomplished this season, we have some things to put on a living room table now about our program to help us recruit. And we are very excited that we had the newcomer of the year, excited to win 18 basketball games. I think we have a lot to add to Corpus Christi and Texas A&M Corpus when we are talking about a young lady's future.
No doubt. Well, in the Southland Conference tournament, which you just came from, your squad did fall short in their matchup against McNeese State, a team that you split with during the year, each team winning at home. Now, your team definitely fought hard. You shot the ball well. You rebounded exceptionally well. But the one stat that kind of jumped off the page was the turnover situation, 16-6 differential, and ultimately leading to a 20-2 points off a turnover differential. It only takes one component of the game to break down to be the difference, doesn't it?
You're playing March basketball at that point. So in March, you hope that when some adversity comes along, you're able to overcome it. I thought we had a little nerves to start the game, and we had 4 straight turnovers from the one position. And when you have that, it's really difficult to overcome. It takes all of your momentum away. It takes a while for your team to build themselves back up. But we came back in that game, led by 5 or 6 in the second half, had our opportunities to basically put the thing on ice, and we let it slip away once more with turnovers. So it was certainly what sent us home, and what we'll work on in the spring to try to rectify that. But we have some people that we signed that we think are going to be able to come in and shore up some of our deficiencies, and we really look forward to this spring and next fall.
You know, senior Jasmine Shaw, we talked about her a lot this year. She was giving you everything she had. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Finished with the team high 17. All of this considering, you know, people don't need to know that she had that knee injury, a pretty damaged knee. Now, looking back hypothetically, could she have gone 4 straight games in that tournament?
Actually, we played on Thursday. I called Jazz Friday and said, "Can you play today if we were playing?" She said no. She said, it's too stiff." So when she tore that meniscus early in February, the doctor came back and said, "You need surgery." And she's like, "I want to wear a brace. I want to put it off. I want to try to play as much as I can." We let her sit out. Virtually, she didn't practice again for any amount of time, but she just went out and played games. And she played with a torn meniscus and was able to put up the numbers that she put up down the stretch. And a lot of that, you know, she tweaked it in the McNeese game, and she was just trying to grit through it there at the end. Very tough young lady, gave everything to the program. Very, very, very proud of her, and she earned a lot of respect from a lot of people.
In regard to your returning seniors, though, she was a senior, but your returning seniors, the ladies that came back to the program this year, they had a tough challenge. They were asked to lead a young group of new athletes in the program. The problem was they didn't have a whole lot of experience winning in their 3 years prior. How did they manage considering the challenge?
I think the hardest thing for a player to do is accept a role on a team, because everybody has a vision of their role on the team. Unfortunately, as a coach, that vision might not be the same vision that the player has. So what you have to sell a player on is your vision for the team. We virtually had to take our senior class and put them in the back seat. We asked them to guide us from the rear. We brought most of them off the bench. We relegated them to, these are the things that we need you to do, and they bought in down the stretch, and it really helped us. I thought early in the year they were trying to do a little bit too much. You know, your talent level will take you to one level, and they were trying to play beyond their talent level. The one thing that I thought we were able to accomplish this year, we changed our culture. We changed the thought that when we get out on the court, which we had last year of, "Oh my gosh, I hope nothing bad happens," to "I'm about to make something good happen." And I think Jasmine Shaw was a huge issue in that. I think she was a young lady that came in and said, "Look, we got to all get together. Here's how you win games." And the rest of them bought into that.
There's no doubt. Well, I'm well aware that you were hoping for a postseason tournament opportunity with the WBI, the Women's Basketball Invitational. But unfortunately, they made a decision to go a different way. I know there's some disappointment with this, but do you believe that being this close will add to next year's team's determination to take it even that much further?
Well, I think it's a test for our team. Are you willing to do the hard work it's going to take in the off season to prepare yourself to win one more game? Because that's the margin right here. If we won one more game, there's no doubt in my mind we would have been playing postseason. So that comes down to maybe one more possession, one more block shot that we had roll in and roll out. And there's a lot of components to that. What kind of leadership will we have next year? You know, we won't have Jazz Shaw, we won't have Brandy Huff. How will our team mesh together? And that's really our challenge. That's where we want to go. But we have a team meeting today, and we're going to talk about November, and we're going to talk about being poised to go make a difference next November, and that's where we'll begin our work.
That kind of leads me directly into the final question here. This meeting you're having, what is the procedure now that the season is concluded?
Well, the first thing, you know, I don't want to cry in front of those seniors, because I've known Jasmine Shaw for probably 7 years, and to have the opportunity to have her for her senior year and for it to be such a spectacular year, You know, that's why you sit in your rocking chair when you're 80 and you think about the things that were good in your career, and that's a good thing in my career. I'm very excited that she had the kind of year that she had. She was very instrumental in us doing what we needed to do. Brandy Huff, Ashley Darley, Taryn Gregory, I've had them for 2 years, and all of those girls bought into what we hoped to do and where we wanted to go. Very, very difficult to say goodbye to them. And so we get that done. Then we start challenging the rest of them with what kind of year you're going to have. And don't think that you pick it up in September and say, okay, now I'm ready. No, there is no off season if you want to be a great player. And you look at, you know, LeBron James, they say, what do you do in the off season? I add one dimension to my game. Well, that's pretty scary for LeBron James to add one dimension. Well, it'll be pretty scary for Brittany Bommelou to add one dimension to her game. What about Cassie Jones to add a dimension? That's their challenge, and that's what we'll try to get across to them, because you have to do that on your own.
Well, it was a great season, Coach. Congratulations on the success, and best of luck next year.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Royce Chadwick joining us once again here in the locker room. When we come back, we'll bring you up to speed on what's next for Islanders Athletics. Stay with us. More to come. Islanders Insider continues. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. This time we want to show you what's coming up next for Islanders Athletics. The Islanders men's and women's basketball teams are in postseason action, and their upcoming schedule is not available at this time of taping. For all the latest updates, be sure to visit GoIslanders.com for schedule and broadcast information. The Islanders baseball team plays host to Southeastern Louisiana for a 3-game series at Chapman Field this weekend. They will face the Lions on Friday and Saturday at 7:30, with the series finale set for 1 p.m. on Sunday. Scott Malone's squad then heads to San Antonio for a non-conference affair against UTSA on Tuesday, March 25th. That game is slated for 6 o'clock. Islanders softball is at home on Chapman Field as well this weekend, with McNeese State coming to the Coastal Bend. The teams will play a doubleheader on Saturday starting at 1 p.m., with the series finale on Sunday at noon. Then on Wednesday, March 26th, the Islanders will head to Austin to face off with the University of Texas at 7 p.m. The women's tennis team has a big home match on Thursday night, taking on Southeastern Louisiana at 6 p.m. at the Thomas J. Henry Tennis Center. Admission is free for all spectators. The team will then arrive to Dallas for a neutral site conference matchup against Central Arkansas on Tuesday, March 25th. Islanders men's tennis has a pair of big non-conference matches in Houston coming up. On Friday, March 21st, the team will face Rice at 1 p.m. Then on Saturday, March 22nd, the Islanders will take on the winners of the HEB Tournament of Champions, Tulane, at 1 p.m. in Houston. The Islanders golf team is off to Little Rock next week to take part in the University of Arkansas Little Rock Women's Golf Classic. The teams will play 36 holes on Monday, March 24th, then finish with 18 holes on Tuesday, March 25th. And finally, the Islanders track and field teams have a busy week ahead. They head to San Antonio on Saturday, March 22nd for the UTSA Texas Challenge Invitational. Then on Wednesday, March 26th, it's the start of the Elite Texas Relays, hosted by the University of Texas. Competition at the Relays continues through Saturday, March 29th. We want to thank once again Willis Wilson, head coach of Islander men's basketball, and Royce Chadwick, the head coach of Islander women's basketball, for joining us here in the locker room today. We also, of course, thank you for tuning in once again. I'm Stephen King. This has been Islanders Insider.